is a two-time Hall of Famer, one of the greatest world champions of his era, one of the greatest of all time. You can hear him on ESPN Radio in Houston, 97.5, Booker T. How are you doing, Booker?
Yeah, I'm doing real good, man. Everything's lovely in Texas right now, except the weather, you know what I mean? The weather could be a little bit better, heading to the 4th of July, but everything's good, man.
There you go. All right, Chris, you're tag teaming up. Reality of Wrestling, your home-based promotion in Texas, teaming up with Impact Wrestling for a big show called Deep Impact this Saturday. It's going to be going down at the Booker T World Gym Arena on M.F. Lowry in Texas City. How pumped are you for this show? A big presence for Reality of Wrestling with a big nationally televised brand.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, you know what I mean? Definitely proud to actually be able to pull something off like this, first and foremost. Once upon a time, I was a part of, formerly known as TNA Impact, and, I had a great time when I was there. A lot of young talent was there when I was there, guys like Samoa Joe, Styles, Rude, Creed, which is Xavier Woods. But I tell you, man, to actually get a chance to work with these guys and let my guys get a chance to, see exactly how good they really are, more importantly than anything. I tell young people, young guys getting in this business, you got to know exactly how good you are. And I believe in these guys, and now to actually let them go out there and see how good they really are, matching up with talent that they watch, on television on a regular basis is really, really cool.
How much has Impact changed? It's gone through so many different changes since you were there in terms of ownership, in terms of producers. You even mentioned the branding and the name of it has changed quite a bit. What do you think of that change now as you meet it and you're kind of co-promoting an event with them?
Well, I think they're, just like any other, organization, team, oriented, such as football, basketball, baseball, you find yourself in a place where you have to re-gear, regroup, and try to find yourself all over again. I think that's where Impact is right now, trying to find their niche in this, this world of professional wrestling. And right now, the world of wrestling is huge. You know what I mean? Right now, it's as hot as it's ever been. And I think, Impact, right now they're not as big as they used to be, but they do have a chance to resurge and get back there because right now the door is pretty much wide open.
Yeah, there is a lot of changes. We'll touch on that. And some of those changes are the new talents you've been bringing into the wrestling world. You've launched many, many big-name talents on the independent circuit from Reality of Wrestling. You have your school based in Texas now. What are something that you're trying to spot when you see a talent? When you see someone and you think, I got to get a hold of that guy. I got to get him in an ROW. I got to get him in my gym. What is something about spotting talent that you see now that maybe people didn't see before, or maybe you even didn't see before?
There's so much talent out there, man, all over the world. And, hey, that's my dog going crazy. But there's so much talent out there right now. And it's really, really hard to judge, you know what I mean? What's different about this guy or what's different about that guy. I just know from my perspective, I try to look at these young guys and talk to them from a perspective to where, it's their time. It's their world. What they make of, the industry right now is, what they're going to, remember, when they get my age, but I just try to tell them, but please do not miss out on what the makeup of the wrestling business has always been. And that's going out there giving the crowd a great, great show. A lot of times, a great payoff, as far as the wrestling go, and I think, that right there, the psychology of wrestling and making the fans feel, it's so many guys out there, and myself, I just try to get them young and teach them that one aspect going forward in their careers, and hopefully that might be the one thing that help them, in the long run.
Now, when you came into wrestling, you came into it in a very different way, where the way of introducing an athlete or anyone to wrestling was wildly different than it is now. It's much more formal. People can find you. They know about your school. They can go and try out and see if it's for them. What are the differences about entering the wrestling business now from you training people as to when you got trained and entered the business?
I tell you, It's changed a lot, but in a lot of ways, it's still the same. You got a lot of guys out there who really never made it to a certain level in professional wrestling, and they're out there teaching, professional wrestlers, and I think it's really, really hard, if you haven't been there, it's really hard to teach someone, what it takes to work at a certain level. To get in the ring is one thing, but to work at a certain level, that's something totally different.
Absolutely. So, of course, you're busy with Reality of Wrestling and training wrestlers. How do people get a hold of you if they want to go to your school and try and give it a shot and try and chase that big dream in the ring?
Go to realityofwrestling.com, man. I just call directly at 281-993-5321 and get a hold of us. Check them. DM me on Twitter or something. Any way you can get in touch with me. But one thing about the wrestling business, the business never finds the wrestler. The wrestler always finds the business. Those are the great wrestlers at the end of the day.
Yeah, you've heard those stories. I saw this big 6-foot guy. We got to get him in the ring. Come on, we need a new giant. So you've heard all that stuff. You've been having a very good, successful career with ESPN Radio 97.5 and Brad Gilmore and doing the Hall of Fame show. And, of course, obviously, everyone's been seeing you the past few years on the Kickoff panel. What do you think of the current stage of your career now as someone who's obviously very rooted in wrestling? You'll have, maybe you had a match recently, your first one in a few years. How do you feel about wrestling? Are you still passionate? Are you still connected to it? Because it seems like you're more passionate than you've ever been.
Yes, of course, I'm passionate about the business. Business that have given me so much and made me who I am today. I love the business, but there again, I love working with young people. At the same time, I've been, Brad Gilmore. He came to me when he was, 18 years old, and now he's 25. And him and I actually here in the city of Friendswood, where we live at, on July the 5th, we're going to be presented, Booker T and Brad Gilmore Day here in the city of Friendswood. So we're just putting in the work. But as far as the passion, I don't think I could do reality of wrestling, for the last 15 years without having a passion for the business. But I also like creating my own and trying to bring wrestling to the forefront just from a different perspective, because we're all doing the same thing, but to try to do it a little bit different is what I try to focus on, and I do that with a bunch of young talent. That's what's different about reality of wrestling is everybody on the roster is really, really young. I'm the oldest guy on my crew by design, and I think that's what's made it work for these past 15 years. But yeah, man, my passion is still there for the business from an outside perspective, not an inside perspective. I don't want to be one of the wrestlers. I don't want to be one of the guys putting the boots on or anything like that. But to mentor these young guys and help them fulfill their dream at the end of the day, it's pretty cool.
Is there something differently rewarding? Obviously, you've had the thrill, the high of a great match and headlining a full arena and winning championships. You've had that as a performer. Now, as a producer and a trainer, is there something special when you see one of your students kind of have those breakthrough moments and you kind of just get to sit away as a mentor and appreciate that?
Oh, man. When Ember Moon finally got her shot, I was so proud to see her, make that step. When the Usos came to me and got their finishing touches and, got to shine, man, I was like so proud, man. I watch Street Profit right now, and, every time I see that crown, those guys are representing, Booker T and, Harlem Heat and what we did. So it's amazing to watch, the young talent that's, come out of my school, but as well as that have been influenced, by what I've done in the business as well. It's awesome. Also, I was just talking about how the business have changed. Well, a lot of the young guys these days, they don't respect, the guys that came before them, but the ones that do, man, I really do appreciate them because they let us know that, we really, did something and paved the way for them.
Now, you did mention, and I was going to touch on this, of course, this Friday, before you guys have your big show on Saturday with Impact Wrestling, you're going to have your own day in Friendswood, Texas. Booker T and Brad Gilmore Day in Friendswood, Texas. What is that like? That's a different, unique, very localized honor. You've gotten the Hall of Fame. You've had the World Championships. But there is something just communally reaffirming about having your own day in the town where you live.
Yeah, man, I got, I also got my city, my day in the city of Houston as well. So it's pretty cool, for the city to recognize, one of their hometown boys that have done good and represented, the city, as well as been a role model, for young people that's coming up as well. And I think, it's cliche, you know what I mean? But I think, we are put here for a reason. And for me, to actually be able to give back and, set an example for a young kid to, know that they can do whatever they want to do in this life, especially a young African-American kid who didn't, finish high school and got locked up. It's some inspiration there, that they can draw from, so it's definitely important for me.
Of course, this Saturday, once again, Deep Impact. It's going down at the Booker T World Gym Arena. 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry in Texas City, Texas. A combination of Reality of Wrestling and Impact Wrestling. What is something on this card that for you, you're going to be at the curtain? You got to see this match. You can't miss it. What are you looking forward to the most on this show?
Well, the ladies have been, blowing it out of the water as of late in the wrestling business all over the world. And, Tessa Blanchard, she's definitely somebody to watch, somebody to look at. And I got, a young lady down here in Reality of Wrestling by the name of AQA. She is awesome, she's very young, but she is so talented. Then I got another one by the name of Hai Young. That triple threat match is going to be so awesome. Rich Swann, I'm going to be taking on Ruthless Ryan Davis, an X Division champion, versus the Reality of Wrestling champion, Michael Elgin versus Moonshine Mantell, our Texas champion. I tell you, the card is stacked. The card, is stacked with some of the best young talent out there that you're gonna want to watch coming up. See them before they ever, became famous as far as the Reality of Wrestling side. And then, we got the Impact guys who have gotten their feet wet. The guys like Moose, who's going to be taking on, Mysterious Q here at Reality of Wrestling. Those guys have been seen, but for those guys to actually, take the stage from a perspective to where, some talent that, almost untapped, diamonds, that just need to be polished, not diamonds in the rough, but just need to be polished. And now we're going to get a chance to see, dream matches that the fans really didn't even know that was out there. So I tell you, it's definitely going to be something to watch. Saturday night is going to be huge for, Reality of Wrestling on Deep Impact, our first one, but hopefully it won't be our last, and the fans are going to get a treat. They're going to get a chance to see something that they're going to remember for a long time, because I say with this show, I'm taking all the responsibility. If it's a flop, I take the responsibility. But if it's a great show, I'm taking all the credit.
Well, you want to say you were there. You don't want to say you wish you were there, right? So once again, this Saturday night at the Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, Texas, you guys will also have another big show, Ladies Night Out. This is another co-promoted affair with Reality of Wrestling. Title Match Wrestling coming up August 17th. Once again, at the Booker T World Gym Arena. What can you tell me special about this show? Because obviously it has a unique presentation.
Man, ladies, man, and like I say, I just want to give the ladies their props. And I guess maybe it's due to, my connection with Sherry Montel. We should call it the Sherry Montel Classic, something like that, just to give her props. We may do that later on. But, Ladies Night Out has been something that we just started working on, and to just start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we start getting ladies from all over the world to come and be a part of what we're doing here at Reality of Wrestling. And that's putting a spotlight on them, making them look the best that they possibly can. I look at someone like Sue Young, and Sue Young, man, she got so much talent, but coached, someone, pointing her in the right direction to, have her do, the things that's going to really, really put a shine on her. That's what we specialize with these Ladies Night Out shows is, making the fans see these young ladies as something special, and they want to come back and see them over and over and over again, as well as put them in a light to where, someone may call them and say, hey, we got a job for you, that's what the Ladies Night Out is really all about.
Now, before we wrap up here, a little bit more of a challenging, controversial situation. You are never known to be one to hold back your opinion and what you think. Obviously, on the Hall of Fame podcast, fans can subscribe on iTunes, any podcast platform they have, and you've been open about a lot of different things. Matt Riddle is a confidently big star breaking up big in WWE's NXT brand, and you recently kind of shouted back at some things he had to say that were critical of another guy that you've been very familiar with in the ring, Goldberg. He was very critical of a recent Goldberg match with The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia, and you kind of told Matt Riddle to back off, and you also told him to step his game up. Can you kind of clarify what you were saying there?
Man, the wrestling business, man, there's always been a brotherhood. Like I say, people can say what they want to say about Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, the way he got into the business, he wasn't a guy that, went to the wrestling school like myself. He wasn't a guy who perhaps grew up, watching it on television on a weekly basis, but somebody came to him with an opportunity, and he took it. And then he turned out to be, an awesome draw. The fans loved Goldberg. Goldberg drew so much money in this business. I can only imagine. I can only imagine how much money Goldberg drew for this business, as well as the fans that love Goldberg. Coming up, man, that's worth a whole lot. I think as far as I'm concerned, I think. As far as one's work in this business, just say, for instance, let's look at the Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man, he'll go down as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And you can't really remember a whole lot of, Honky Tonk Man's matches as far as how great they were, but he drew a lot of money, and that's what the business has been built on the whole time. And I just, Matt Riddle coming in professional wrestling from MMA, guys like that need to understand the heritage and what this business was built on, and what it's going to continue to be made of from forevermore. And guys like that coming into the business just need to understand, more so about the business opposed to the wrestling side. That's just my opinion.
And that's a fair opinion to have. You didn't say anything. I saw some people saying that's ridiculous. He shouldn't be able to say that. I was like, this is Booker T. Like this isn't like a guy who flew in and was out of the business in a year or two. This is one of the rock beds of the business last 20, 30 years, and also is the guy who's training up people that are going to be in the ring with Matt Riddle in the next few years, or in the ring with him now. So I always appreciate how clear you are and how much you are in validating your stance on things.
Well, and hopefully, it wasn't said to offend him or anything like that, but, work up, I always say, know how good you are, you know what I mean? You got to know if you're better than the guy that's standing next to you. You got to know if you're main event ready. You got to know if you're the guy that the fans want to see at WrestleMania in the main event, and you know what I mean? And until you get to that level, I remember people a lot of the young guys, used to say, man, when The Rock would, make his appearances, back on the roster. And then every now and then you would see it on social media. Young guys are hot about The Rock, coming back, But one thing that these guys need to understand, The Rock, when he came back, the crowd was full. When The Rock came back, it was sold out. When The Rock came back, their paychecks was just as good as well. Understand and embrace that opposed to trying to fight that, because I don't think he's trying to take money out of your pocket or anything. We want the next generation to flourish more than anything, and I just think these young guys need to understand that and get on the bandwagon.
If someone's drawing the house, enjoy staying in the house. You know what I mean? Don't feel bad about it. Such a good time to be talking with you. Of course, Impact Wrestling, Reality of Wrestling, this Saturday night, Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, Texas. Get your tickets now. And Booker, if they want to give you a follow, where are you out on those socials? Don't follow those fake accounts. Where are they looking for the real thing?
Oh, man, Booker T5X on Twitter, on Instagram, all my platforms is Booker T5X. Is not the real and all that fake stuff. If it ain't a million and a half, 2 million, on that little number up there, it ain't me. You know what I mean? So, guys, get with me, man. Get with me. Like I say, follow the show, ESPN, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. We're streaming at BookerTLive.com. Voice your opinion, man. If you like what I say, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know, man. I'm all ears.
Booker T, thank you so much for the time.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Take care, man.